Hey, it's the Deaf Man from Deaf Man Vinyl, here to do one of my favorite things in the entire world, which is unbox a box of records. I bought a collection of 500 this past weekend, and I can't wait to get into it. I did kind of some diligence, couldn't go through all 500 while I was there, so what I usually do is take a representative sample. In this case, I took 10 out, looked at them carefully, hit them with a flashlight, and got a sense of the quality and the content of the collection. I knew the number, and so I just wanted to do a quick reality check. And so I'm gonna go through some of these. This was kind of, I got this from an old stoner, so it definitely skews 70s, classic rock, 70s, 80s, and that's really kind of our bread and butter here at Deaf Man Vinyl. So let's see what we've got. This guy liked Chic so much, he's got 2 copies of that. You really, yeah, somebody will come along and grab that. Chicago, they've obviously got 1 million records. They're kind of a mediocre seller. And then we've got Cat Stevens, Greatest Hits. And it's interesting, greatest hits records, best ofs, tend to sell really, really well. In the old days, in my days, we followed an artist and bought every single album as it came out. Sometimes we got clunkers, sometimes we got gems. But today's buyer seems to want to go right for the greatest hits. And so those always sell really well. Steely Dan, you can't go wrong with Steely Dan. That'll do well. Cactus, interesting. So this is somebody I know that I'm not sure a lot of people know. This was a 70s hard rock guitar driven outfit. So Cactus, so excited to see that. I'll probably put that on. Boston, unfortunately, if it's not the first one, it's not really super desirable. And just for the record, I'm just popping these out real quick to take a look at them. I'm gonna, later on as I actually clean these, I clean all of our used records. I'll be checking the condition then as I put them in my hydrosonic cleaner. So let's see what else we got. Bob Geldof, Boomtown Rats, kind of a post-punk band. Ooh, the Nuge. The Nuge has lost his mind, so he will probably go in the $3 box just because I'm not crazy about what he's saying these days. Beach Boys, classic. Steely Dan, again, some really glad to see that in there. That's one of my favorite albums by them. I see The Boss, Springsteen, Wild, Innocent, and the E Street Shuffle. It looks a little rough, the cover, and again, as we're valuing records, the cover, the condition of the cover, the spine, play into the overall value of a record. I've got Greetings from Asbury Park, excited to see that one. Paul Simon, a live record, and I take a lot of grief for this, but I would say that Paul Simon, in my mind, along with Dylan, are the greatest living singer-songwriters in America right now. So I love Paul Simon. Unfortunately, it seems to be kind of a minority opinion. Here's another Paul Simon. Skinner, you can't go wrong with some Southern rock. That's Second Helping, and that one came covered with an external sleeve, which protects the value of the record, quite honestly. And then again, back to the greatest hits, best of. Here's a Skinner Gold and Platinum. Bruce, again, kind of Tunnel of Love was kind of an underrated album. I like it. We'll see how that one sells. What else have we got in here? Savoy Brown, the precursor to Foghat, liked them a lot. 2 Savoy Brown, he apparently liked them a lot. 2 Savoy Brown albums. Another Greatest Hits, Seals and Croft, that'll sell. Santana, Greatest Hits, that'll sell well. What else do we have here? 2, he really liked Santana, so he doubled up on that. Another Paul Simon, his first solo album, which is probably one of my favorite albums by him. Santana, I think this was the first album. And what else have we got in there? Some more Paul Simon, a Greatest Hits. Tattoo You, the first time I got to see the Stones back in 1981. So I've got a nostalgic love for that album. Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, Deja Vu. It looks like an original pressing with the pebbled cover, so that looks good. Now we're starting to get into some jazz. So Art Blakey and his Jazz Messengers. We've got a jazz box upstairs. Doesn't really kill it, but $9.95 to $11.95 we sell quite a bit. Miles Davis. Can't go wrong with that one. And actually, I'm not a huge jazz fan, but I love this Miles Davis Bitches Brew. So, and again, covered, but still showing a bit of ring wear that will really kind of go into my decision as I price these for sale. Spyro Gyro, that'll go upstairs in the jazz box. Newport compilation, those do really well, a jazz compilation. Willie Nelson, again, probably the third greatest living singer-songwriter left in America. And so that's one from him. Different Strokes. I'm not quite sure what that is. That looks like a compilation. Here we got Thelonious Monk. Some more Crosby, Stills and Nash. This was a gazillion seller back in the day. The Who, one of my favorite bands. So Tommy. And the thing to note about this is the movie soundtrack. So this is not the original release. So not super, super valuable. Introducing the Beatles. Now the challenge with this is finding out what version we've got here. There's a million. This was pressed and just an incredible number of pressings on this. So my guess is that's probably not a super valuable record, but I'll do the diligence on that. I'll check the run out and the code in that. Badco, can't go wrong with those guys. Ambrosia, I think this is one of their early albums. This was kind of a soft prog band from LA. Got one of my favorite songs on here, Holding On to Yesterday. So the deaf man might keep that. You know, I'm kind of like Scarface, Al Pacino. You know, you don't sample the product. And so I usually only keep an album or two, maybe 3, 4, 5 at the most, I'll keep from a collection to add to my collection. And what have we got here? Harvey Mandel and Shangrenade. So again, sometimes they stump the chump here, and the deaf man doesn't even know what that particular record is. I'll look that up or maybe slap it on real quick and see what it sounds like. I find some surprises that way. This and the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack continue to kill. So this is the Grease soundtrack. Excited to see this. The cover looks nice. Hoping the vinyl looks nice when I get in there. Oh my gosh. The most classic of classic rock albums, Frampton Comes Alive. So if you're a child of the 70s like I was, you wore this one out. Dolly Parton, 9 to 5 soundtrack. Movie soundtracks actually seem to do pretty well. And Dolly's having a moment. Everybody loves Dolly. And so excited to see that one. Billy Joel, Innocent Man. We've got Glass Houses. So in this collection, the owner tended to have 3, 4 deep on the different artists. So excited to see that. Steve Miller, Book of Dreams, a great one. Chuck Berry, the godfather of rock and roll. Patsy Cline, believe it or not, actually sells really well. We sell this one new quite a bit. Bee Gees Gold, everybody loves the Bee Gees. Evita soundtrack, and again, that'll probably do well. And being here in the South, the Atlanta Rhythm section, they're from down around Atlanta, so that'll sell. Aretha, this was I think an 80s album for her, Who's Zooming Who. Three Dog Night, captured live at the Forum. I personally have a soft spot for Three Dog Night, so happy to see that one. Love the Blues, and so here's a double album, B.B. King and Bobby Bland, and so excited to see that. Soft Machine was just kind of an early electronica, I guess, kind of band from the 70s, so excited to see that. Anything that kind of jumps out of the ordinary, I'm going to kind of get excited about. 1, 2, 3, 4 Jeff Beck albums. And again, he was the British guitar god. Doesn't sell super well. I think there's a couple generations that really didn't ever get hip to Jeff Beck, but great albums. I don't know that these first 4, I don't know if there's if he had a bad album among them. Chick Corea, And then Chick Corea's Band, Return to Forever. John Coltrane, Favorite Things, that's a good one. And then, oh my gosh, Stoner Me used to like the Mahavishnu. That's John McLaughlin, Mahavishnu Orchestra. Very kind of, I would say kind of King Crimson-y almost, Robert Frippe. And then Les McCann is a jazz guy who I do not know, live at the Roxy. And that is unboxing our first box. I got about 10 more to go, hoping I'll find some gems in there. And again, I'm gonna pull these out, take a look at them, clean them. We'll slip them in a outer sleeve, slap a price tag on it, and hopefully sell some records. Okay, so we've rummaged through that first box, and I'm generally pretty pleased on what we got. I pulled out about 7 to kind of go back and show you some things that are gonna impact value for these records. And so for the most part, at Deathman Vinyl, classic rock stuff, just kind of nondescript, could go for about $9.95 up to about $14.95, $16.95 if it's really something. And so, you know, that Steely Dan that I pulled out is super desirable. That'll probably be $14.95, $16.95. Something like this, though, which is a great record and would normally be, you know, $10.95 or so. It's got a glaring kind of a value buster right here. It's got what they call a cutout mark. And so it's hard to believe, but at one time this was a cutout record. And so the record store drills a hole in them. Sometimes you'll see a slash, but basically that just says this was cut out at one time, which I find hard to believe because that's a great record. And on this Crosby, Stills and Nash, I would love for this to be a first pressing, but it has a gold record sticker on it. So this came out after, obviously, that this was certified gold. So early pressing, but not a first pressing. Some people love this kind of stuff. I like, I guess you'd probably call this kind of a hype sticker. I like that kind of stuff. And then here's one that's interesting. Again, I said I love this Bitches Brew by Miles Davis. Very curious though, it says $5. It's got a price tag. And thankfully they put it on the outer sleeve and not inside. So I'm very curious. I want to see what kind of shape this is in. It's a little dirty, but let me hit it with the light. And I found the only way to really tell and see scratches and the condition of a record is to drop a flashlight on it. It's dirty, but actually looks really good. And yeah, that's not going to be a $5 record here at Deathman Vinyl. And then let's see what's going on with Rolling Stones Tattoo You. This is a value booster, I always say, if you've got the original inner sleeve and it's in good shape. Oh, no, it's got a little tear down there. It's come apart. That is an easy fix. I just take Elmer's white glue, make a little thin bead right where the original one was, and press it for an hour or two, and then it comes out perfect. So yeah, I'll fix that, but that actually adds a little bit to the value that the original inner liner. Kind of a value killer is it's got a blue price tag. That actually comes off pretty easily. I use lighter fluid, and lighter fluid dries clear, and it breaks down that adhesive. Paul Simon, again, I was raving about Paul Simon because I love him. And let's see, same thing. A regular, the original inner liner with lyrics, but that's again an easy fix with some Elmer's glue. And then Return to Forever, Chick Corea. It looks horrible. That obviously was not put in any kind of sleeve, and so it is just worn over the years. Let me take a look though. I'm always curious if it's bad on the outside, what it looks like on the inside. Oh my gosh, and this looks. Actually, I see some scratches. This will probably wind up, this might wind up in the $3 box. I absolutely, in good faith, cannot sell a record for retail full price if it's got scratches on it. So there's that. And then this Soft Machine record, again, it's got a little price tag on there, and I can get that off with lighter fluid, and we'll do that. Let's see what kind of shape that record is in. Very nice. Dirty. They're all dusty. This is a collection from back in the 70s, so these records have been around for a little while. And I've got, again, an isonic hydrosonic cleaner, and I'll clean all these, put them in a fresh outer sleeve, and we will find a new home for them. That's what I always tell guys when I go to buy their collection. It's a very emotionally fraught moment. It's not like going to buy somebody's lawnmower. You're going to buy their memories. And so what seems to click with people that I can tell that just don't want to let go of that collection is we're going to get them back in circulation. They're not doing anybody any good sitting in a closet someplace or up on a shelf. We're going to get these in circulation, and trust me, somebody will come into Deaf Man Vinyl and go, oh my God, Soft Machine, I've been looking for this record. And so that always makes me happy. And that seems to make sellers happy when especially, guys that have had these collections for 30, 40 years, they've schlepped them across the country 8 times every time they moved. They finally get to the point where I need to sell. And so I always thank them for trusting us and honoring us by letting us have their collection. So that's a little bit about my most exciting moment of the day, going through a box of records that we've just purchased. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, this is the Deaf Man saying, keep them spinning.